from the heart, not the hype. Just keeping it real through the highs, through the lows. Every twist and bend, turn the channel on the screen in a family and friends. Oh, comments lighting up like a Saturday night. Different views, different lives, but it all feels right no matter where you're from. When you tune in, you see a little bit of you, a little bit of me. Yeah, yeah, we laugh, yeah, we learn, yeah, we sometimes clash, but there's something in the moment that we all can catch. It's a spark, it's a vibe, it's a frequency. Turn it up now, feel the energy. MattTaylorTV, bringing people together through the stormy weather, making days feel better from the screen to the soul. Yeah, we're all connected, every voice, every story, respected, reflected. MattTaylorTV, yeah, we ride this groove. Different hearts, one rhythm, got nothing to prove. Side by side in the light, come whatever may be. We're alive, we're a tribe on MattTaylorTV. From a message in the chat to a moment that's gold, every comment's a thread in the story we hold. Some come to heal, some come to debate, but they all find a place, yeah, they all find a space. No script, no mask, just truth on display, turning noise into music in a beautiful way. Even critics get a seat, yeah, they're part of the show, 'cause together we rise when we let it all flow. Yeah, we stumble, we stand, we evolve, we grow. Every chapter we write makes the whole thing glow. It's a pulse, it's a beat, it's community. Feel it now, this is unity. MattTaylorTV, bringing people together through the stormy weather, making days feel better from the screen to the soul. Yeah, we're all connected, every voice, every story, respected, reflected. MattTaylorTV, yeah, we ride this groove. Different hearts, one rhythm, got nothing to prove. Side by side in the light, come whatever may be. We're alive, we're a tribe on MattTaylorTV. So whether you agree or you don't, that's fine. There's a place at the table, pull up, take your time. It's bigger than a channel, it's a way to be free. Just people being people on MattTaylorTV. MattTaylorTV, bringing people together. Hands up high, we're vibing forever. Every laugh, every tear, every moment we share. It's a bond, it's a spark, yeah, it's something rare. MattTaylorTV, let the good times roll. Feel the beat, feel the love, feel it deep in your soul. From the past to the now, to what's still to be. We're one big groove on MattTaylorTV. Woo!
A big shout out to Lenny. Lenny in the house. Well done, Lenny. A zillion brownie points for Lenny for being the bravest of the brave. I know. Can you believe it? When we've still got the homeward journey to go. Artemis II has nearly accomplished their mission. What I find interesting about the far side of the moon is that we've got this big, like, round crater in there, and of course it reminds me of the Death Star. And so wouldn't it be so funny if you know, we go around the back of it and it is the Death Star, and then all of a sudden they turn on and then a beam comes out and fucking blows Artemis II out of space. Wouldn't that be funny? No, not really. It won't be funny. It won't be funny. Anyway, welcome everyone. Like I said, Artemis II. I'm here Easter Monday. Yes, did you catch my alternative Easter Monday presentation? The strange crucifixion. If you haven't done so already, check it out. It's really good. It's really good, mate. Check out the strange crucifixion. So, without any further ado, let's catch up with Artemis II. on the way to the far side of the moon.
Pretty darn bright
How
compared to everything that you're
exciting.
looking at. So in order to
Here we are.
install it, we will ask that you retrieve the condensation
We are on
hose and you install
the way
it
to the
on
moon.
a friction fit.
Oh, that's all right. Oh, we have, yes.
That's right
Big
by
shout
one of
out
the
to Justin in the
diffusers.
house.
You're going
It's
to
too
pull that
dangerous for
little
them to actually go to the
condensation
moon.
hose
Health and safety,
such
allegedly.
that the air
And
is flowing
I've been
over
thinking
the
about what you
window
said, actually,
pane.
Justin. I've got
Let
to
me know
forgive
when
you.
you're ready for the stowage
Well, sorry,
location.
I've got to ask for your forgiveness. You always go on about the Van Halen belt. And I just dismiss it because it's just too much to get my head round, you know? But you are right. I mean, there's so many reasons why this is all a fake. And I actually feel sorry for NASA. I feel sorry for NASA. No, sorry, Matt. I was hovering. Yes, all right. You know I've got like shitloads of channels, so you'll see it eventually somewhere.
Copy.
But I actually feel sorry for NASA because no one is buying this. Big shout out to Chris Frawl. Chris Frawl is about to ascend Everest, and what did he actually say about it? I'll go to Facebook and read. I love a bit of Chris Frawl, I must admit. So if you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to Chris Frawl. He's climbing Everest imminently. Raise money for traumatized veterans, and of course that's always a worthwhile charity to donate to. And of course, talking about worthwhile charities, make sure you donate to Danny Tomo. He needs a boat. Okay, Danny Tomo. I mean, I think what he's doing is very, very, very important. You know, we need more people like Danny Tomo. And so let's get Danny Tomo that boat, shall we? Let's get Danny Tomo that boat and keep our shores safe. There's apparently hundreds of thousands of kind of like third world nutters are streaming into the UK. And none of us want that now, do we? Yeah, so look, I can't particularly find the actual comment that Chris Frawl said, but he said people are waking up. You know, people are waking up. No one's believing this bullshit. Over to Justin. I just sent some WhatsApp messages. Sorry, I don't know if didn't know you were live. Yes, I did see them just as I was going live, but I also had messages from my girlfriend. She says, the weather is even better tomorrow. Good luck, and all of you have fun. Thank you, my love. Thank you.
We are now just under an hour until Orion passes behind the moon, and we lose communication with the crew.
Have a good day,
they will be out of reach with any of our deep space network antennas. That loss of signal will last.
I've got a busy day happening tomorrow. I'm getting all hands to deck because I need to clean up my garden.
While they are behind the
Got
moon,
scaffolding going up at the end of the month, and there's a big. You know, I haven't touched the garden since before winter, so autumn. And so I've got Lewis, I've got Lizzie, I've got Lizzie's boyfriend. I've got Emma, the dog, and myself. We're all hands on deck. We're going to sort the garden out tomorrow, so I'm really looking forward to that. In a way, I should really invite Nikki down, you know? See if she wants to help out as well. Justin says, Lenny's son, don't you think 4 remaining astronauts who allegedly moonwalked should be interviewed at length for prosperity? And that's, yeah, very interesting. But the very fact that they aren't doing that indicates something isn't right. You know what I mean? Something isn't right, is it? No.
Orion is now under 5,000 miles away from the moon. Again, we expect their closest distance to the moon be about 4,066 miles.
The dark side of the moon.
That is,
should it be a capital M or just one M?
Share that closest approach distance once we receive it.
With Artemis II, and today's date is Monday, the 6th of April, 2026.
Cool the window with the condensation hose, or did you want us to put the shroud back on and cool the window at the same time?
On the way to the dark side of the moon with Artemis II, Monday, the 6th of April, 2026. I mean, ultimately, this is an absolute real time to be alive, isn't it? I mean, it's just so exciting. So exciting. But it's just such a shame no one's believing it. You know, that's the worst thing about it. No one's believing the bullshit.
Okay, copy. We're going
Crazy.
both at the same time.
So, Buzz, Harrison, Charlie, and Scott, is it? Well, okay, so they're apparently the 4 astronauts. Like I said, there's only been 12 to have walked on the moon, but 600 plus who have gone into space. Shout out to Brian PC who shared that. Justin says, surely humanity is missing out by not having these 4 incredible men's story out of this world story. Yes, surely humanity is missing out by not having these 4 incredible men's out of this world story. I agree, you know, but perhaps that's the reason they don't want to have these people on the record, because then the truth will be out, wouldn't it? Oh, look at that, isn't it fantastic? We're approaching the far side of the moon. I do believe that signal is going to be lost at about 11:40 GMT time. So signal's going to be lost about 11:40 our time.
Crew reporting from
and then it's going to be,
are seeing half the
we're not going to have any contact
from
with
view from the spacecraft.
Artemis II for 40 minutes.
What has become a little bit of a catchphrase
interview by Ian Puddock at the Gin Bakery would be awesome. Harrison Smiths, yes, Lenny. So don't be shy, jump on in and say hi. Take the plunge onto MattTaylorTV. We're on the way to the dark side of the moon. Apparently we haven't gone further ever. Records are being
subscribe to MattTaylorTV and you'll never be the same again.
MattTaylorTV. Yeah. Started with a voice and a story to tell. From the heart, not the hype, just keeping it real. Through the highs, through the lows, every twist and bend. Turn the channel on the screen into funny and friends. Comments lighting up like a Saturday night. Different views, different lives, but it all feels right. No matter where you're from, when you tune in, you see a little bit of you, a little bit of me. Yeah, yeah, we laugh, yeah, we learn, yeah, we sometimes clash. But there's something in the moment that we all can catch. It's a spark, it's a vibe, it's a frequency. Turn it up now, feel the energy. MattTaylorTV, bringing people together through the stormy weather, making days feel better from the screen to the soul. Yeah, we're all connected, every voice, every story, respected, reflected. MattTaylorTV, yeah, we ride this groove, different hearts, one rhythm, got nothing to prove. Side by side in the light, come whatever may be, we're alive, we're a tribe on MattTaylorTV.
Subscribe to MattTaylorTV, and all your dreams will come true.
Oh, here we are. Isn't it fascinating? Again, can we believe anything NASA says? Oh, there was a bit of a glitch. Oh no, we've changed. We're getting closer. We are getting closer.
That they also seem to be different texturally. Christina described it earlier.
Fascinating.
Around her.
One thing I found interesting is how
I'm sorry, toward Oriental, there appears to be a frozen.
Oh, I don't know.
A rippling.
There's something about they're showing us pictures, and the moon is a small dot. No, the Earth is a small dot. But then we see the moon from the Earth quite close up. But yet halfway between the Earth and the moon, the Earth is quite small. So it's all a bit mindfuckery, to be fair. Over to Lenny. Matt, people are also struggling with a severe cost of living crisis. Artemis II is a slap in the face to some people. Tone-deaf governments don't care about this, about the little guy, woman. Well, yeah, of course that. But I remember they were saying the same thing back in, well, not me personally, but I imagine the same argument was being said back in the late 60s, early 70s. What, we're spending money on this when the, you know, when the world is in crisis. And then it opens up a whole can of worms, and the big discussion is, well, what is money? Money is a promise. Money is a man-made fiction. So we have to understand, every single one of us, that poverty is man-made. Poverty is a policy. Oh, it's just so there. Once you
Victor, thanks. Not swirly, just patchy is really helpful for us.
Once you turn your back on the system, it all becomes clear. Over to Justin. So little information on the moon landings. Did they sign the Official Secrets Act? Well, we know very well with the interview by Chuck Juke
really
with Danny Jones,
coming from
Bart Sibrel, that they did sign the Official Secrets Act. And of course, we all remember the press conference after coming back from the moon. You know, and I'm being sarcastic here, but we all remember how ecstatic they were. I mean, they were the most fucking down and gloomy set of people you could ever have the misfortune to come across. Lenny's son, NASA obviously ran out of money. They can't afford to get the astronauts on the moon. Yes, they were. The expense of the Apollo missions was colossal. Apollo 17 was barely watched because people didn't give a fuck by 1972.
We've been loving your evocative
Absolutely.
Victor. You really
Let me just look for that press conference.
And we're following along with visualizations that pale in comparison to your descriptions. Thanks.
Conference. Men back from moon. Here it is.
Integrity Science, one more question on a status of what the window team chose to observe for crew choice.
Lots of people don't know Charlie Juke from David Duke. Are we talking about the Dukes of Hazzard? We all remember Daisy. Was that her name? Was Daisy her name? Sharon. Oh, right. Okay. So what we need to do, we need to stop this one. We need to stop this. Oh, yeah, good. Because we're then going to share another screen. Share screen. Oh, okay. We have to get rid of this one completely then. Remove source. And now we can crack on. I just want to show you this quickly because, you know, it just doesn't. Oh, goodness gracious me. I've been driving all day. Everyone. You know, don't harass me, for goodness sake. Don't harass me, for goodness sake. I mean, what's all this about?
To accomplish.
I have two brief questions I'd like to ask, if I may. When you were carrying out that incredible moonwalk, did you find that the surface was equally firm anywhere, or were there harder and softer spots that you could detect? And secondly, when you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
In this rough terrain. We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics. I don't recall during the period of time that we were photographing the solar corona what stars we could see. I don't remember seeing any.
Neil, you were a little bit concerned, you said, about stubbing your toe at the point of landing because the surface was obscured by dust.
I'm struck from the movies and the still pictures by the difference in the very hostile appearance of the moon when you're orbiting over it or some distance from it, and the warmer colors and the apparently relatively more friendly appearance of it when you're on the surface. I'd like to ask Colonel Collins if he gets that same impression from the pictures.
anyway, we've all seen that. We've all seen that before. I want to get back to the coverage.
On the way, but
this is so exciting. Look at that.
But some of them are
on the way to the dark side of the moon.
And then I think I even saw some that maybe diverge, which
Hello everyone, welcome. You're watching Matt Taylor TV. I'm your host, Matt Taylor. Don't be shy, jump on in and say hi. On the way to the dark side of the moon with Artemis II, Monday the 6th of April 2026. If you haven't done so already, be sure to check out my forum at MattTaylorTV.freeforums.com. If you haven't done so already, check me out on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Of course, for more original music made by Suno AI, check out suno.com/@MattTaylorTV Jukebox. And as always, you are watching Matt Taylor TV, broadcasting live from Brighton. Be right on in Brighton. As I always like to say, don't be shy. Jump on in and say hi. Be brave and take the plunge onto Matt Taylor TV. It's an open discussion, but of course, there's certain ground rules we have to abide by. We do live in a police state Britain. Certain names cannot be mentioned. Certain topics cannot be discussed. And let's all act with a bit of maturity and always be friendly. But above all else, let's get naked. And what I mean by that is, don't take our clothes off necessarily, but it's to do something enjoyable and or relaxing. Let loose and have a good time. So let's let the mayhem commence. Broadcasting live from Brighton. Be right on in Brighton.
The moon. You can see what he's describing when he says Hertzsprung Basin and how it looks a little bit paved in the middle there. It's almost in the very center
Patrick,
of the moon in this view.
Patrick Moore, you recognise him. Yes. Not Magnus Pike, no. I saw a bit of Magnus Pike recently, actually. I caught something of him. He used to do the Lion game, didn't he? That kind of like, but yes. I remember Magnus Pike. I actually quite liked him. Patrick Moore asked that question to the astronauts in that clip. Yes.
And we are standing by for their lunar loss of signal in about
4 days,
43 minutes. Again,
23 hours, 23 minutes into the mission. So we're coming up to 5 days. So we're halfway there. Like I said, we're going to lose communication with Artemis II at about 11:40. UK time, and we're going to be out of contact with Artemis II for about 40 minutes, by which time it would have come around the dark side of the moon and back in contact with planet Earth. Over to Lenny, who says, are people more cynical or boobs in 2026? More suspicious in a low-trust society because of the draconian 2020 coronavirus lockdown? I think that's spot on, Lenny. And again, you know, that's why I always like to have you as a member of the audience, because you are a very intelligent man who contributes
They're also looking for more
quite intelligently to the conversation, and I think that's exactly what's happening. I mean, for me personally, the coronavirus lockdown was an absolute nightmare, because I went through the whole lockdown without any computer equipment, but it's not about me. So I don't know what it was like going through the coronavirus lockdown, being connected to the world, because I wasn't connected. Okay? But I imagine everyone who was connected spent that time looking into subjects which they otherwise wouldn't have looked into if they were at work 9 to 5. So yeah, thank you ever so much, Lenny. I think, you know, you're spot on there. Surely people are curious. Why aren't they actually going on the moon? Well, goodness gracious, it's a really bee in your bonnet, isn't it? We're doing it all again. Remember when they done this in the late 1960s? You go around it. I mean, yeah, I get it. I get it. It's not as if Columbus would sail to America and just anchor off the shore and survey it and then come back. You know, I get that. But yeah, it's a very good point. It's a very good point. But slowly, and I still go back to the health and safety.
This is our lunar flyby day, and
there weren't no health and safety back in the late 60s, early 70s. Lenny says, I think some space exploration fans are saying this is a waste of money, not casuals, actual space academics questioning this.
Canadian Space Agency astronaut Jeremy Hansen calling down.
I think it's important
it's a record soon broken by other
to be
explorers.
Out in space, for humanity to have a presence in space. I think a moon base is way overdue. And considering money is a man-made construct, okay, we should be out there. But the very fact is that no one's buying it is indication that, you know, exactly back to what Lenny says, you know, people are more cynical and or spooked. They are more suspicious in a low trust society because of the draconian events of the coronavirus lockdown. Lenny says coronavirus vaccinations, AstraZeneca, Moderna, and
we are live in Artemis Mission
Pilzer,
Control in Houston, Texas.
Pfizer, and the
Artemis
Oxford
II.
jab.
All
Safe and
of the flight
effective,
controllers here, each monitoring a different system aboard the Orion
well,
spacecraft.
listen, I didn't have any of that shit.
Houston, we are ready for our cabin and window.
I would have a meningitis
again.
jab.
We have
I do love a bit of meningitis.
Time here.
Society can't pretend it didn't happen. Absolutely, Lenny. You know, and would you have been talking like this pre-2020? Yes, Matt, your Columbus analogy is spot on. Yeah, absolutely. No, you know, and you're right. And you're right to bring up the Van Halen belt. And you're right to bring up the fact that we're going there but not setting down. You know, it's. I'm only dismissing it because it's like too big a question for me to answer.
Next shift here.
Yeah. But they always say this is an exploratory mission, and perhaps, you know, when you're sailing around the moon, it's all a bit different. But so it looks like they're in their night zone at the moment, all their lights off. Well, what we do know is someone done a massive shit up there, didn't they? The toilet's been blocked up since day one. Sailing to America and then coming straight home. Yeah, you got it. You got it in one, mate. You got it in one.
Lunar closest approach.
So what would they have needed to
5 days, 0
land?
hours,
They haven't actually got a lander with them, have they? No.
34
They've just
seconds,
got the reconnaissance
and the altitude
module. So if they wanted to land, they would have had to have brought a lander.
Statute miles.
But that never made sense as well. I mean,
maximum
none of it made sense.
Altitude
The technology side of it
will
didn't
be
make
at
sense.
MET, 5 days, 0 hours, 27 minutes,
But
39 seconds.
Going along the
with
trail
an
of thought
altitude
that all this is fake, that means
200
these people are intentionally faking. These people are actors getting paid to deceive. And in actual fact, they're just orbiting the Earth, maybe. It's a mind fuck, isn't it, to think people would lie to us on such an industrial scale. It's for that reason
the crew really wants to
I'm sitting on the fence. But again, I have already said that if I was going to bet an analogy of poker game, I would go all in that this is fake. And I'm sorry to say that, but I'm a risk taker. Matt, I know you're saying money is a fake thing, but that's a David Icke argument, and he has a great way of teasing the idea of truth without solid, tangible facts. Of course, money is vital in this life, but we also know that money can be made out of thin air. And then money can be reset. So I don't buy the argument of let's not go to the moon because of the living crisis at the moment. The living crisis is born out of greed by shareholders and greedy capitalists on the Earth.
Backup crew member to the crew
okay, I mean,
aboard the Orion
the fact
spacecraft.
that GP is making billions of profit per quarter,
as you can see, it is very dark.
isn't it indication enough that BP are overcharging the customers?
Coming through the window.
So I do think there's
from the moon.
That should be parked. The cost of living crisis should be parked away from the cost of going to the moon, because if we're going to go along with that, let's
observation block, meaning they are taking time to switch
the living crisis,
window teams. We've had
the cost of living crisis by ending war. Let's end war to subsidise the cost of living, and then maybe we can go to the moon in a clear, with a clear conscience. Justin says, did you see the video I sent you? In 72, one astronaut dropped a hammer and a feather at the same time, and they both fell at the same speed. It's actually on film. Yes, I did see that, yes. And it was a bit fragile. I am frazzled in my mind, actually. But then again, I have had a busy day. So I've skimmed things today, if you know what I mean. Skimmed it. I skimmed, milked it. Artemis II is a 10-day psyop. Why? Because they need to keep the story going, don't they?
As you heard,
again, what exactly?
Call to the crew, this block
just to keep us all preoccupied. Remember, we've got to understand what's happening in the world today. We've got a war that's kicking off. Cost of living going up. And then we've also got the promise of the alien files being released. So we've got the truth of aliens about to be released imminently. This could tie in perfectly with a release of official documents implying that alien life is a reality and aliens are walking amongst us. In fact, Justin sent a video today, which I watched, about Chuck Juke, talking about the last time they went around the moon, they saw structures there.
Their observation period does
and the reason why we haven't gone back to the moon is not because of financial restraints, but because of alien species telling us to fucking keep clear. So perhaps all this is orchestrated for a bigger picture that we aren't aware of. And of course, it's all speculation and for entertainment purposes only. That's why it's important to own property or acreage rather than just having money sitting in an account, as its value can turn into virtually nothing. Hence the Russian ruble in the 1990s. Of course, and the whatever the German currency was, the Deutschmark, back in World War II, in which you know, end of World War I, World War II. Money is a tool. It's a control tool, isn't it? And the people who control us, the cattle, use money as a control mechanism.
Once the crew is all the way around the Earth, the brightness of the Earth will wash out any of.
So I'm really hoping to get some close-up views. You know, I must admit, Matt, who does Artemis II inspire that Apollo 2 hasn't already inspired? Driving around the moon for a look at the back arse of it isn't that interesting. Listen, look at this as a package. Okay, it's important that we go around the backside of the moon, because then it allows us for the next step. This is a stepping stone, and we have to have this step. And I'm only parroting what I've heard from NASA, by the way. So please, you know, I'm just a parrot here. I'm playing devil's advocate. We have to go through this step to take the next step. And the next step is then landing on the moon with the view of the step after that, which will be then using the moon as the stepping off stone to Mars. So essentially, Artemis II is not about going back to the moon. It's going to Mars.
So we will have communication with the crew. We just won't be able to see
the moon. I know this may bring a smile to Justin's face. In this day and age, we need to do things according to health and safety. And a part of that is to fly around the moon first. Then we can step on it. Then we can use it as a stepping stone to Mars.
But they also want the crew to look into deep space.
Artemis II isn't a moon mission as such.
Any planets.
It's a mission to Mars. So, Justin says, surely America is the property of the USA. They discovered it, so to speak, didn't they? Well, you know how I feel about that. King Arthur landed in America long before
we are live through the whole thing, and
Columbus
even
did.
flyby
And then it could be argued that this Tartarian empire was, you know, the remnants of King Arthur's empire. I mean, the moon is the property of America. Sorry, I am frazzled as well. Have you been driving all day? Hey? Have you been driving all day? NASA did this better 57 years ago, landing on the moon. We did it. This isn't breaking new ground, son. Well, again, playing devil's advocate, we have actually broken a record. Well, not we, but Artemis II has actually broken a record for going further out into space than any other human has gone before. There's more of a bigger loop.
Thanks, Jeremy.
And of course, back in the Apollo program, they also went around the moon first.
So thanks for passing
They flew around the moon first before they landed on it. Perhaps that's just what you do in space, man. You know? That's what you do. You do a flyby and then you land. I mean, it's all about checking the equipment, isn't it? It's all about confidence. Get your confidence up. Trump probably think the moon is his. Yeah, damn right. But of course, and so at the same time that America was landing on the moon, Russia landed on the moon with their robots, with their landers. In fact, on the same day in which America landed on the moon, Russia was there too. So what qualifies as claiming the moon? Someone who lands there first with a robotic lander? Or someone there and lands
it's a little hard to make
human
out,
feet?
but on the left there,
No, I think the
is
human
Jeremy
feet win
Hansen,
it.
just calling
Myself.
down some well wishes to his family, joining us
We,
in the viewing
in that
room
way,
and watching
yes.
online. Currently in the window are Victor
They can
Glover
get
and
past
Christina
the Van
Cook.
Hennenbelt
They are
by
taking
jumping
pictures
over it.
outside of the window as they are now in
But
their observation.
their argument is that we go through it so quickly.
At this time,
it doesn't
Reed Wiseman and
affect
Jeremy
us.
Hansen are serving as support crew members.
Again, it's just.
And they are also going to have an opportunity to enjoy their midday meal.
I
at
don't
this
think
time.
things are properly explained. You know, that they use the old economics trick. Oh, you know, economics is complicated, so we'll just leave it to the economists. No, it's not that complicated. We can simplify it. And I think this is what should be doing with space travel. Allegedly did it 4 times. They can't do it 50 years later. I know. It just doesn't make sense. And that's why, if push comes to a shove, I would put all my money on it being faked. And I feel bad. I feel bad for it. I don't blame myself for thinking this is faked. Okay?
And if you look
I blame
closely,
Russia.
you can see it looks like they are getting into
That was a slip
some
of the tongue,
the
that
food
was.
for the
I blame
midday meal.
NASA.
All of the food
I blame
on
NASA.
the spacecraft is rehydratable.
Because
we don't have an option for
green
fresh
screens
food if
are
there's
being
not a
used.
refrigerated
Okay,
section
green
of
screens
the
are
Orion
being
spacecraft.
used.
So all of
When we
this
first
food, can
blasted
either be
off,
rehydrated or eaten
there was
straight from the package.
interference
Just depends on
and
what the food
it went
actually
green.
is. And for
Okay?
food that needs to be
So
rehydrated,
green screens
there is
are being used by
information on
NASA.
each package of how much water
NASA
needs to
cuts
fill that
footage.
bag and what temperature it needs
Just
to
when
be.
just when something gets exciting, they cut it. NASA only allows us to see what they want us to see. Why can't we see what we
are now
want to
4
see?
days, 23 hours,
Lenny says, I'll get
39
go and see
minutes,
myself
4
out.
minutes actually,
Health and
into
safety.
the flight of Artemis
What about
II,
health,
the
health and safety
spacecraft
now, mate?
now
What about
under
health and safety?
4,500
Or maybe just
miles
BS.
from the moon.
I'm with Justin. I'm with Justin. Maybe it is just BS. You know, over to Lenny, who says, hang on, the 4 astronauts that did it are all in their 90s now. Yeah. Of course, Armstrong is dead. Armstrong is no longer with us.
We are now also under 30 minutes away from loss of signal with the astronauts. We
And we're
will regain
30
that
minutes
communication
away
about
from loss of
40
signal.
minutes later.
And then we'll have...
They will still be photographing the moon and documenting what they're seeing while they're behind the moon.
Lovely.
And we especially look forward to potential Earthsat and Earthrise views.
Oh, lovely. Of course, a lot of people are saying, why can't we see
As you can see on the left side of your screen, we are streaming this solar array camera view throughout the flyby. And the science team also plans to capture an occasional still photo with the solar array intermittently, perhaps one every 8 to 10 minutes. Still photos represent the highest resolution imagery from those GoPro cameras. So starting 5 minutes before Earthset and loss of signal, the science team will capture a series of photos, one every 30 seconds, to include Earthset, all the way through 5 minutes after Earthrise and acquisition of signal.
I'm not buying the cost, Lenny. I'm not buying the cost.
Photos, the solar array camera that we were
I don't think the cost was a factor. I think that's another little fib that they use. You know, if something is worthwhile, money is found for it. And that's why there's always money for a war.
They need during these time frames. And we really look forward to seeing those higher resolution.
Only Charlie Juke is talking. And of course, he's defending the he's defending the moonwalk. Buzz Aldridge just gets ignored. Yeah, well, no one wants to talk to him because you get punched in the nose if you do. Charlie Duke's getting a free case of gin to keep up the official BS story going. So that's interesting. So, Lenny, do you believe all this is fake or not? Lenny says, Connery lampooned the moon landings in 1971. Diamonds are forever, remember? And apparently, you know, they tell us that, don't they? That's the path of a Satanist. Because even a Satanist has some rules to abide by. And a part of these rules is to tell the truth. To let them know what's happening.
Victor Glover and Christina Cook are already photographed.
Over to Justin. People are afraid to interview Buzz because he might beat them up. Damn right. Hey, listen, don't be shy. Jump on and say hi. Plenty of money for wars because the weapons manufacturer are making money for it, and oil robbers. Yes, but of course there is a space industry.
That Eye of the Sahara is
and
a feature in Mauritania.
You know, you got to understand what the money from wars are being spent on.
Seeing this crater more than once throughout the flyby allows the
everyone needs to buy. Everyone needs to spend their money on something, and there's only so many whores you can go through.
Those different
Not that I got anything against whores. Trump literally said today he'd be happy. He would happily rob Iran's oil. Zero honor. I mean, hearing Trump said he was going to more than happy to bomb Iran back to the Stone Age. I mean, what kind of rhetoric is that? I mean, fuck. I thought he was the peacemaker. You know, that got thrown out the window pretty quick, didn't it? No, the world is fucked up, man. And it's a reflection of all of us. We're all fucked up. Hey, listen, I'm with Danny Tuomo, man. Give that man some money for the boat. Buzz was dead right to belt that clown. Yeah. Let's get the 4 remaining heroes still living on a one-off exclusive interview. Surely it's worth it. Damn right it is. But is it going to happen? Is it going to happen? Because ultimately NASA will have the final say. Because, like you said earlier on in the stream, they have signed the Secret Act, and they can only say what they're allowed to say by NASA. So, about 20 minutes before the signal is lost,
the moon outside their windows.
Matt, who bombs a girls' school and
of the moon, preventing any reflections from coming in from the
kills 170 children? Who did that this year? America. Yeah. Hey, listen, I've always been aware that America are the bad guys. I mean, come on. America dropped the atom bomb twice. And I later found out that Japan was desperate to surrender. America are not the good guys. Anyone who thinks America are the good guys are the fool guys. And I've known that since my earliest understanding of world politics. I mean, we've got atom bombs, later atomic bombs, later nuclear bombs, the most destructive weapons man has ever made. And who used it? America used it. So, you know, I'm not buying any of that shit, mate. Quite frankly. So listen, why aren't we looking at the moon? What's the use of looking at these people when we should be looking out the window? There should be a constant camera on the moon now. We're getting close to the moon. So why the fuck aren't we looking at the moon? You know, it's not good. It's not funny. But still, okay, they heard me. We're looking at the moon. The Western media barely covered it, but they did cover it.
We expect the crew to be targeting Ulm Crater for another 6 minutes or so.
And of course, that's the problem with war, isn't it? Collateral damage. Civilians get killed in war. This is why years ago, when I started my SOS party, I put forward the SOS war plan. There are better alternatives. But of course, you and I aren't in charge, Lenny. And I do believe if the likes of you and I, Justin included, were in charge, the world would be a better place. For the simple reason that we aren't Satanists.
If you've been following
along, Sibrel asked Juke if he had signed the Official Secrets Act. He said only when he was a fighter pilot and not for NASA. Just saying. Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. But again, when he said that, I didn't believe him. Which is interesting, which means if I didn't believe him when he said that, because there would have been an Official Secrets Act. That's bullshit. So actually, you've just reminded me that he must have been lying. Because I've always believed if you lie about the small things, you'll lie about the big things. So if Chuck Juke lied that he hadn't signed the Official Secrets Act for NASA,
earlier we were also able
everyone
to
knows that bullshit.
Darker portions, that old lava flow that we often see on the near side of the moon, and that we can all see from
old lava flow. Oh.
That has mostly
Discriminately bombing a girls' school equals war crime. I know, and that's exactly why they denied knowledge of it. It's exactly why they denied responsibility, because they know very well, straight off, that's a war crime. Most right-thinking Americans will be utterly repulsed this is happening. Yeah. Well said, Matt. Thank you. What was that? What I said about lying about the little things, you lie about the big things. And well, you know, come on. You all have to sign a fucking Official Secrets Act in NASA.
We
had that. We've seen that on movies. You know, with that movie with black women. We've done all the calculations. Starring Kevin Costner. They had to do, they signed an Official Secrets Act just to do all the calculations to get man on the moon. For goodness sake. Everyone bloody gets the has to sign the Official Secrets Act working for an organisation such as NASA. And, you know, I know this myself, but it was pointed out by Gary Waterman. NASA is one letter away from Satan. And you can, you know, have a little mess about with the words. T for truth. Add the truth into NASA, and what do you get? Satan.
We expect their closest approach to the moon to be at NET, or mission elapsed time, of 5 days.
We seem to live in a world that is far worse than conceivable. Yeah, I mean, they know that old saying where, you know,
would be 4,067 statute miles.
Truth is weirder than fiction. And I think that's appropriate.
Just over 2
Let's all forget about it and watch Artemis II. Yeah, it's a distraction. You asked earlier on, now what's the purpose? I think you've hit the nail on the head, Lenny. It's a distraction. We're distracting. We are distracted from the war, from the cost of living, from the imminent release of the alien files, and a plethora of other subjects that we're not looking at because we're looking at this psyop going around the moon. And I have to do a big shout out to Danny Tomo, because I think what he's doing is absolutely vital for the security of our nation. Yeah, he's not exaggerating when he's saying hundreds of thousands of undeclared men from third world countries are streaming into the UK. I don't think he's exaggerating. This man has been there. He's seen it with his own eyes. And I'll take the word of a man who's been there on the ground, who has seen things with their own eyes, than any other person who talks from it from a third party perspective. And so please, if you haven't done so already, I haven't done it yet, but I may well, let's get Danny Tomo that boat. And Lenny, you're so right. There's a lot of stuff that's being ignored because we're watching Artemis II. Over to Justin, who says, so they are just going on a sightseeing tour of the moon, like going on a sea cruise. Yeah. Well, obviously they're going to be, yeah, there is. I was going to say they're going to choose a landing site, but we've done all the groundwork with the Apollo missions. So Justin brings up a very good point. There is no reason why we shouldn't be landing on the moon now, because all the groundwork has been done with the Apollos. We know where to land. We know what it takes to land. We know the data that it needs to be taken to land. So let's just land. But no, it's a distraction. It really is. Kevin Costner needs to apologise for his non-existent Nottingham accent in Robin Hood. Yeah, funny, Lenny. Artemis II just looks like a self-indulgent tripe. I know it does, doesn't it? Yeah, $1 trillion tourist trip. And again, touching on Gary Waterman, he calls this as a money laundering operation. Yeah. I'm not distracted from the lack of money and bills at all. Well, there you go. I mean, I don't like going on about my financial state, but I don't know how I'm going to get through the week, to be fair. But let's have a joygasm flyover over a flyby that most people won't remember by next week. Yes, Lenny. They recorded the moon's arse in 1967. Look it up so they know what moon's arse looks like. Yeah.
Checking in on the lunar targeting package, the crew is now in their discussion.
Nothing really
the limb of the moon
stands up to scrutiny. Nothing NASA has ever done stands up to scrutiny. Even that, I mean, that live picture of the Earth doesn't look like a globe to me, and it's gaslighting when people like NASA say no, this is real, but it doesn't look real. It looked like a two-dimensional picture. You know, I've never seen the Earth look like a globe. I've never seen the Earth in the 3D, if you know what I mean. I just don't see it. Perhaps I haven't got the sight for it. But I've never seen the Earth from space as a 3D globe. I've always seen it as 2D, like a plate. I've seen it as a plate, just there in space. And so I think the truth is far different than anything we've even come up with.
I've continued to reference the lunar targeting.
It's perception, an illusion. The world around us is just an illusion, and it's what we perceive through our eyes and brain. That's the only thing that makes the world around us real, is how we perceive it, and we're perceiving it through our brain and our eyes, because you can bet your bottom dollar every animal perceives the world around us differently. I.e., a dog perceives the world differently to us, a goldfish perceives the world differently to us, a bird perceives the world differently to us. You get what I'm saying? They recorded the moon's arse 1967. Look it up so they know what moon's arse looks like. They don't need to drive around the moon's arse, says Lenny. No, they don't. But hey, that's what they're doing. A flyby. Comment of the day by Lenny's son. Absolutely. I do like to have Lenny in the chat because he's and you, Justin, of course. But Lenny, mate. You are spot on. Sorry to sound like a bad crank tonight, but clearly this is rubbish. Okay, so I did ask Lenny just to come out and say, do you believe this is fake or not? He hasn't actually answered it directly, but it's obvious. It's obvious how Lenny feels about this. And it's equally obvious how Justin feels about this. So, intentionally putting my words into the mouth of Lenny and Justin, they both think this is bullshit. They both think we're being taken for a ride. And I'm using the analogy of a poker game. If I was to place a bet on whether this being real, because I'm a bit of a crazy gambler, I will go all in that this is fake.
Integrity Houston.
And then now I feel sorry for NASA because I don't believe them. But in the same way, I don't believe John Williams isn't Danny West. You know, I'm allowed to believe what I believe, and I'm allowed to not believe what you tell me to believe.
Okay, Jenny, that game, we missed most of that, but just a 10-minute warning, is that what you're saying?
So why are they calling this groundbreaking? NASA has pictures of the moon's arse since 1967. Exactly. It's a psyop. It's bullshit. It's distracting us from what's going on in the world today. Another great comment. I know Lenny's on fire, man. And so are you, Justin, to be fair. You honestly, you two are great company, and thanks ever so much for keeping me company with this, because we're here for another hour at least. Okay? And then I've had a long day. I've got to get to bed. I've got a massive day tomorrow. I've got all the crew coming over. I've got the whole crew coming over. And we're going to smash the garden. I've got scaffolding going up at the end of the month. So I've got a crack going along the whole side of the house. And the house is literally cracking. There's a crack. So scaffolding going up. Got to get the garden done. Heave ho, heave ho. Over to Lenny, who says, hard to trust these NASA folks, Matt. Yeah. And I'm blaming NASA for it. I blame NASA for the fact that we can't trust them. Because they've done nothing that's clear and transparent.
I want to remind you, coming up on this LOS, it will take sit reps.
You know, we've seen that woman in the picture. I've forgotten what her name is. Well, not so much forgotten. I've never known what her name is. We've seen her move the camera around.
On impact flashes.
So why can't we see them move the camera around now and point it out the window? Why can't we see stars out the window? And what? And that's supposed to be the Earth there now. So that's the right. This is interesting because we've got the moon and the Earth. How fascinating!
Look out for impact flashes and more.
That is nice. Look at that. We've got Artemis II, the moon, and the Earth. Wow.
Just so you understand what's going on with window 1, there is light coming through the outer hall.
That's a nice picture.
Into the inside of window 1.
That's a really cool picture.
You can see the inside of the vehicle when I look between the two panes of glass.
Copy.
Let's just get the 4 remaining astronauts on a TV interview, and then we can ask them to tell us everything they saw. Then we can make an informed decision. Well, look, you keep going on about it. How about if we just say that's not going to happen?
Look at Orion.
That ain't going to happen.
And the Earth. Everyone in this picture.
Yeah, that is quite a cool picture. That is quite a cool picture. But still, I've got my arms crossed in a I don't believe it stance.
From the Orion spacecraft.
Well, it's not the view because this is a camera extended out of the craft, isn't it?
Orion,
this isn't a picture from the capsule's window. There's kind of like a stick sticking out of Artemis II,
and on the Earth,
and it's that camera that's taking this picture.
All of humanity. You can see the moon is starting to get a little bit dimmer.
There is a backlash to this white elephant moon trip because legitimate questions on the point of this jolly. Yes. There is a backlash to this white elephant moon trip because legitimate questions on the point of this jolly. What's the point of it? This is more about going to Mars than it is about going to the moon. Okay? Lenny's son, apparently if we ask questions, then we are nutters. Yes. That's how they ridicule us, isn't it?
You are 6 minutes
and of course,
from your lunar flyby.
wasn't the CIA? Didn't the CIA come up with a term, conspiracy theorist, in reaction to the questions being asked about the Kennedy assassination? But of course, what I've also liked in the Mary Shelley Frankenstein book, I mean, you may remember, I haven't read the book, but what was interesting was that the body that later was used to make the Frankenstein monster was a patient who killed the doctor because the doctor was given jabs out for a contagious disease. And the patient thought, no, this jab, what are you doing jabbing me? And that was the reason why this bloke killed. Anyway, you know what I mean? Do I? I don't know. I don't even know what fucking mean. Over to Lenny. Yes, Justin, conspiracy losers and all that. I know. But there are legitimate questions. We saw that picture of Earth. Why aren't we seeing satellites? Why aren't we seeing planes? Why aren't we seeing Australia with the buildings upside down? You know, we should be able to look at Earth from orbit, see Earth in its entirety. Oh, hang on, I'll just get a. Hi, Sam, how you doing? Why, what's up?
Houston copies. We'll see you on the other side.
We will see you on the other side.
Poignant words from NASA astronaut Victor Glover, and a little bit of a love letter from the other side of the moon all the way to Earth. Glover touching on the teachings of Jesus, including to love your neighbor as yourself. We are now less than 3 minutes away from loss of signal with the Orion astronauts. The Artemis II crew will be out of signal for about 40 minutes as they are on the other side of the moon, continuing their work photographing the lunar surface, and they will re-emerge, and we will also get this view on the other side. Just about a minute and a half now until we lose communication with the astronauts aboard Orion on the Artemis II mission. Now, 5 days and 6 minutes since their launch on April 1st. Again, we'll be out of communication for about 40 minutes. And this really beautiful view of a crescent moon and a crescent Earth. How great thou art. "30 seconds now until we expect loss of signal.
Okay, this animation isn't good. You know. This animation isn't good at all.
And we have confirmation of loss of signal of the Orion spacecraft.
Right. Loss of signal, everyone. So we've got 40 minutes of this.
In another approximately 40 minutes. This was expected as their spacecraft is now out of direct line of sight with Earth and behind the moon. And this is a poignant moment as it's the first time in over 50 years that we have humans completely unreachable by anyone else on Earth. No matter how distant or secluded, we could reach anyone living on Earth, but while the crew flies behind the moon, it's simply impossible to make contact with them. This is a live view inside the Science Evaluation Room here at Johnson Space Center and just down the hall from Mission Control. This team has been monitoring the flyby all day as the team has continued capturing targets on the lunar surface. We even got to see this team in action as they were helping the astronauts identify some of the features they were seeing on the moon but not expecting. There will be a couple of milestones during this loss of signal. The first will be when the astronauts make their closest approach of the moon at MET 5 days, 25 minutes, and 34 seconds. When we expect they'll be
all is fine. All is fine. Just got a phone call from Lewis.
Surface. Their maximum Earth
That's something important to tell me.
Just 2 minutes later, at 5 days, 27 minutes, and 39
all is
seconds,
good.
when their altitude should be approximately.
So listen, you know, look, they're out of thing for 40 minutes.
56 statute miles. Once those milestones are reached and we have confirmation, we will report the official numbers.
I may as well say goodbye now. Out of communication, 40 minutes. We're going to see it all tomorrow anyway. We're going to see all the pictures they've taken of the dark side of the moon. It wouldn't surprise me if the moon turns out to be the Death Star all along.
Voice, images, video, and
So,
mission data must
thanks ever so
traverse
much,
thousands
everyone.
of miles carried on signals from
Thank you,
NASA's
Justin.
powerful communications
Thank you,
systems, the
Lenny.
Near Space Network and the Deep Space Network.
Let's do it
Let's
again
learn a
soon.
little bit more.
And happy Easter to everyone. Okay? Happy Easter. And remember, it was a very strange crucifixion. Okay. Until the next time, look after yourselves.
Communication and navigation for this
And
NASA's near space network and deep space.
let's do it again soon. So, without any further ado, let's play you promotional video.
Phases of the mission. The networks are seamlessly integrated at NASA's Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas, where mission control.
He rode in low on a borrowed beast, not as a lamb, but a spark in the east. Crowds like thunder, whispers like flame, prophecy played like a dangerous game. Temple steps turned into a war, coins hit stone like never before. Shouts went up, the gods came down. Chaos swallowed Jerusalem town. Not a sermon, not a prayer, something rising in the air. History bends, truth gets torn, a crown of thorns, or a rebel born. Oh, the strange crucifixion. Was it truth or was it fiction? Was he dying or slipping away in the shadow of empire's hand? Was it God or a desperate plan? Tell me what they buried that day. Barabbas, call the name. Son of the Father, twist the frame. Bloodline hidden in plain sight, a bargain struck in the dead of night. Judas stands, but not to betray a brother's role in a risky play. Silver pieces or coated trust in shifting sands. Who do you trust? Chains were placed, but not for long. Something hidden, something wrong. Across his rays, the sky turns red. But was he dying or just misled? Crucifixion, was it truth or was it fiction? Was he dying or slipping away in the shadow of empire's hand? Was it God or a desperate plan? Tell me more that he buried that day. Kiss him to the lips, the world goes dim. A sleeping king, they thought him gone. 4 short hours beneath the sun, then silence fell before it was done. A tomb prepared, the stone rolled tight, white robed figures in the night. All those herbs and whispered breath, not resurrection, but cheated death. Not divine, but design. Not the end, but a line drawn in sand, washed by time, hidden truth in ancient rain. Cheat and kill, a secret west, far from Rome's unblinking crest. broken codes and altered time. Across a crown, a vanished king, and the truth still whispering.
Watching Matt Taylor TV is my naughty